Welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt, co-host Ben Miller, and director Garrett Jordan. Fellas, we're here for our weekly NFL picks. And it was a weekend in football last week for sure. Mm-hmm. And we are now all knotted back up. I'll go ahead and reveal that, all at 12-9. So we gotta break some ground here, boys. We gotta separate ourselves.
I'm about to say, it's been a little rough for us. Like it's like one of us pulls ahead a little bit, and then we just all come back to the pack, and then pull ahead a little bit and back.
I feel like me and Ben have been joined to the hip the entire time. It's just like our records have just stayed the same. Throughout the weeks, because it was the same last week, it's the same this week. We went 4-2, but we didn't even pick the same ones this time. I think the time before we had it, but this time like we just happened to manage to get there. But it was an interesting week in NFL. I think the week started with the Cowboys and Giants having we're used to the Cowboys just absolutely killing the Giants, and it didn't really happen here. They only won 20-15. Daniel Jones put up an okay game, so it kind of leads me to be wary about this Cowboys team moving forward.
Daniel Jones though is not good. You got to get the ball in the end zone. You can't keep kicking field goals. I'll leave it at that.
Josh,
That's fair.
I could have told you that 4 years ago.
Well, I mean, you never trust anybody from Duke.
I mean, overall, though, I thought it was a good game between these two squads. I mean, especially with Malik Neighbors, though, that guy is so much fun to watch.
Free Malik's already starting to be everywhere.
Go Tigers!
Hey, if Josh gets to do it, you get to do it too, Garrett. So you go right ahead. I'll wait till basketball season where I actually remember anybody but Drew Brees on the team. So. I mean, looking down this list, do we want to go ahead and just talk about the Bengals-Panthers game? I don't think we have a rant this week, so we might as well.
No rant as far as I can say. I mean, it still wasn't a great win.
No,
I would have liked a little bit bigger, but they didn't look horrible. They ran Chase Brown a little bit more than weeks before, so can't hate on that.
Yep.
Actually, I think, 3 of the touchdowns were rushing?
We got 2 rushing touchdowns from Chase Brown.
And I think 1 from Zach Moss.
Yes, and 15 carries, 80 yards. I mean, let's do this. Let's get Chase Brown more touches, and don't do this thing where you try to have him do a 3rd and 2 up the middle. Like Zach Moss, he's there for that. Let's have Chase Brown run the edge. We talked about this at the game, and so let's do that. Like, it's been the story is we can't rush and we can't stop the rush. Let's X that out. We can X that out with Chase Brown. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, it was a good matchup, good offensive performance by the Bengals. I mean, that run game, though, like you guys mentioned, showed up really strong. I mean, Brown showed up big, Zach Moss showed up big, and also Jamar Chase. I feel like he's back. The last couple of weeks, though, we've seen a lot of flashes from him, and he definitely showed up big, especially with that 63-yard touchdown. So I feel like he's back to being the player that we're used to seeing.
We got to talk about T. He was like he was really the focal point of the offense. So Chase didn't get nearly as many targets as T that game. And that's not necessarily a knock on Chase or anything. It's just like that. It seemed pretty clear that early in the game that T was the focal point. I don't have his final stats pulled up here, but he had a lot of targets throughout that game. So
he definitely showed up big.
I do want to give a shout out to some Panthers players here. Xavier Liggett, Garrett got his jersey. I guess he didn't bring it with him today, but
had one job, Garrett.
I didn't wash clothes. I'm sorry.
No, it's quite all right. But he had a coming out party. He had a touchdown, had a couple receptions. So I picked him up in fantasy accordingly with the Red Rocket throwing it to him. He'll find his guy. But Deontay Johnson as well, 7 receptions, 83 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, but he had a few drops.
Yeah, he did have quite a few key drops. So that's definitely a concern. That's been a concern for him before in Pittsburgh. So I would say all in all, they kind of proved that they're going to be a tough out. They're not just going to be a 7 points a game scoring team. They are going to score some points. They put up 24 on us. Chuba Hubbard, 18 carries, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, about what you expected against this Bengals defense. Oh, God, I have to watch Derrick Henry.
I was about to say, Bengals defense, I do want to talk about a little bit. I don't know if anybody got an update yet on Trey. That's the first key question.
I have not seen anything on Trey.
Not yet.
Okay, so that's something obviously we're all going to need to keep on. There is good news today. Miles Murphy and Jackson from Texas A&M, the rookie we drafted, were taken off the PUP list. Technically means they have 21 weeks. to be activated. However, they are at practice today.
Yep.
Could be good news for the Bengals D line, which they desperately need some help. And one person I specifically want to point out is the wonderful Zach Carter.
There it is. Yep. I hope you say the stat that I always want to say.
Zach Carter. Data is absolutely incredible, gentlemen. After 4 weeks, he ranks 113th out of 113 qualified interior defensive linemen of a pass rush win weight of 0.0%. Again, has not won once yet. But get this, gentlemen. Number 95 is one of only 39 guys that have 80 pass rush snaps. So he's on the field a lot right now. Has to be. We have nobody else to play defensive tackle.
Yeah.
He is the only one with 0 pass rush wins. Okay? The average number of pass rush wins to these highly used DTs are 9. He is horrible. He is by far the worst pick that the Bengals have had in the Zach Taylor era. I want to say he was a 3rd-round pick, so Carmen may even be worse since he's technically not even on the team anymore with a 2nd-round pick. But, I mean, that was such a big miss that they have to find a way to get some kind of pass rush. But I don't know if you saw this, to come back to that horribleness and just let that happen. They benched Cam Taylor-Britt for DJ Turner on Sunday. I was a few drinks deep.
I mean, I did notice DJ Turner getting more snaps, but
I thought it was because Hilton got hurt. But Hilton apparently went back out there, and they literally benched CTB for DJT.
That's kind of understandable. I mean, it was it was just he was getting blown up every single go-round.
Exactly,
Why leave that guy out there? What happened to him? Like, you stopped Mahomes one game. Okay, good job. You still lost the game, and you just come back. You talk more crap, and you get blown. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround, right? I mean, like you mentioned, he showed up big against Kansas City, especially against Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just crazy to see how he underperformed against this Carolina team.
I mean, it was rough. But one point I will make: it is his 3rd year, so I think maybe the expectations for him, which he's not, he's kind of setting himself for those expectations, but maybe are a little high for the 3rd-year guy. But anyways,
I have injury news for Trey Hendrickson if you want.
Yes, please.
Just a little update. So they're saying that it's a neck stinger. Zach Taylor came out and said it's hard to say when or how long it'll take for Trey Hendrickson to recover, but they're saying that there was no nerve damage from the injury. So at most we might be looking at 1, maybe 2 weeks.
I was gonna say,
well, there's a problem with that 1 week.
Yeah, I'll take Trey Anderson back whenever. I don't care how long it takes. But I did hear about the neck stinger on the day of, but I was also wondering if that was just being optimistic. I mean, that dude was in the I was watching. That dude was on the field for a long time, and he was in the tent for even longer. And then all of a sudden, it was like he just disappeared. So I was very nervous about that. But hopefully, that's all it is.
As long as he doesn't see any doctors in Germany, we should be good.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess we ought to talk about that. McCaffrey seeing a doctor in Germany, and it turns out he has double
Achilles tendonitis.
Like, that's probably just wear and tear from all those touches he got in Carolina, just coming back to bite him. And I don't think that's a pretty outlook. I don't know if anybody has any more context on that situation.
I actually didn't even hear about that because I've been living in a moving van basically for the last 24 to 36 hours.
Yeah.
That is not good news for him or San Francisco. But I mean, last time I heard about a player going to Germany, Kobe turned out okay. So you never know. It just may not be good this year.
Yeah. I hope that it turns out that way. It's maybe a little different situations, but sure. Looking around here, though.
I'm going to say, can I please talk about the game I want to talk about
Go ahead
first?
and talk about it.
The Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Threw a total of -7 yards in the first half.
Yep.
And then Bo Nix finished with 60 yards passing and 1 touchdown. I get it. Everybody wants to be Michigan, but don't follow our offense, guys. But, hey, they won 10-9. Aaron Rodgers, you got a little bit of explaining to do there. But speaking of that whole Aaron Rodgers situation, did y'all see Wilson officially called out basically the offensive coordinator and said every week I'm watching other teams do amazing things and unique things, and we're doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Nathaniel Hackett.
So Wilson getting a little upset about it.
Yep.
And then there was news that broke yesterday that the Raiders are probably going to trade Adams. Does the Wilson for Adams rumors start now?
Oh, man.
I was hoping you'd go to New Orleans, though, but yeah, I guess so. We started thinking about it, huh? It'd be weird. Do we get many talent for talent trades, though, in the NFL?
Well, the Raiders aren't even asking for technically talent for talent. From what everything has been released, it's a second-round pick and continuous. So that's usually like your fourth, fifth, sixth round pick. But I think I wouldn't trade Wilson. That would be really stupid.
Absolutely. It doesn't seem like something the Jets are necessarily looking to do right now.
I think the Jets are 100% going to end up trading for Devontae Adams. Wow. It's just whether Wilson's part of it or not. Right. Because Adams basically said that's where his landing spot wants to be.
Yeah.
He wants to be back with Aaron Rodgers. And, I mean, if you get a wide receiving core of Wilson, Adams, and Mike Williams when healthy, and Brees Hall, that Jets offense becomes very scary.
It's just
but if you have Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator, you can only get so far. It doesn't matter how good your wide receivers are. I mean, Wilson's obviously a great wide receiver, but we have seen his production go down since Hackett has come in. Yep. And I don't think that's a talked about enough statement. Is that offense has gotten way worse with Hackett coming into New York, and he just kind of gave up on Zach Wilson, and I don't blame him necessarily, but I think he definitely should shoulder some of the blame there.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be crazy to see if, I want to go back to Devontae Adams real quick. It'll be interesting to see if the Jets do end up picking him up because obviously he wants to be back with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they obviously have a lot of great history together when they were both in Green Bay. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens down the road for sure.
It's funny to me that we're rebuilding the Green Bay Packers essentially in New York.
Let's just run it back.
If he gets Adams and he's got Lazard and Adams and Rodgers, I mean, that just sounds like Green Bay to me from 5 years ago.
Yeah, those teams always are funny to me. Like, it happens across sports. I don't know if it happens often in baseball, but you'll just see, like, all these players that went their separate ways and, like, oh, let's just come back and make a team and it'll work fine, right?
Well, speaking of Green Bay, I'm going to go to that game real fast.
Go right ahead.
Minnesota remains undefeated.
Yeah.
31-29 victory over Green Bay despite Love coming back and having a pretty okay, Brett Favre-like game. 32 for 54, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But, gentlemen, Sam Darnold, 20 of 28, 275, and 3 tutties.
Yep.
The Vikings are legit.
Yeah, they are. They
look like
As of right now, Sam Darnold is my MVP.
I don't have an argument for that.
I don't have an argument for it now. It's nuts because a lot of credit goes to Sam Darnold, but the defense needs the credit, man. I will not get over the fact that this defense made C.J. Stroud look like a pedestrian. 2 interceptions, only put up 7 points throughout the game. That is nuts to me. And Brian Flores deserves all the flowers in the world for that so far. I don't know how. I'm sure he'll get a head coaching job after this. I don't know how that'll go, but what he's doing right now is absolutely nuts. I have the playoff picture. I always love looking at the playoff picture early in the season, so I have it pulled up right now. And since we're talking about the Vikings, I'll start with the NFC because they're atop the NFC as the last undefeated team in the NFC. And then the Buccaneers are second at 3-1. Also, the Vikings, they'll be playing the Jets. We'll talk about them in a minute. The Buccaneers are playing the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. The Commanders, the Washington Commanders, we might want to make a little point about them.
Yes.
3-1, currently leading first in the NFC East. The Seattle Seahawks. Were you want to say something, Garrett?
No, it's just, the Washington Commanders are in first place in the NFC East.
That was not on the bingo card for this season, but LSU quarterbacks apparently are just as scary as LSU wide receivers. But Seattle Seahawks dropped a couple, but they are still fourth at that first place in the NFC West at 3-1. And then in the wild card spots, you have the Detroit Lions 3-1, Falcons 2-2, and the Saints 2-2. Also just outside, you have the Cowboys, Eagles, Packers, Niners, Bears, all at 2-2, sitting outside of that playoff race. I don't know why I said the Bears like they're actually going to do something, but that's still interesting seeing the Eagles, Packers, and the Niners. Those were probably our 1, 2, 3 seeds, So seeing them outside of the playoffs right now, I know it's still early. It's just a crazy thing to think about. And honestly, the Niners and the Eagles have both kind of looked rough at times.
Yeah, for sure.
Injuries are piling up for those 3 teams specifically, though.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure they called one of us to go play wide receiver for Philadelphia last week if they're pulling John Ross off the practice squad.
Yeah.
Man.
So, yeah, that's piled up
John
there.
Ross legacy
Obviously,
season.
the Rams are also, I don't believe, one of the 7 teams you named quickly.
Yeah.
The Rams,
Yeah, 'cause
wide
they're
receivers
1-3.
piling up. And this is just one of the things, not to go negative with it, because we do try to stay positive when it comes to football. But
Right.
this is a thing where I'm avid of, we can't have star players play 17 games. You want to add an 18th game. If we do that, you have to have 2 bye weeks for these players.
No question.
Right.
No
for
question.
Sure. For sure.
Looking at the AFC West really quick, we have the Chiefs, the other undefeated team. Then in second place, we have the Houston Texans, who are first in the AFC South, which is a much worse division than we projected. The Steelers are 3-1 atop the AFC North. Shut up, Josh. And then the Buffalo Bills are in fourth. They have fallen there after losing to the Ravens. That might be one we want to talk about before we get into our picks.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and wrap up here. The Jets are in fifth. The Colts are in sixth. The Ravens are in seventh. And then on the bubble, the Chargers, Raiders, Broncos all sit at 2-2. Yeah, that's an interesting look. Not as crazy as the NFC North, I would say. You still got the Chiefs and Texans at the top, not the Vikings and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy to see the Bucs and Vikings doing well though, because those are 2 teams that were definitely had low expectations going in. So, always love to see them succeeding.
Yeah, just to throw this out here, though, Joe Flacco is going to make the Colts playoff team. Because I've seen this story
No
way too many
kidding.
times.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman had like 11 receptions or something like that, like a crazy game.
He just drops back and he just slings it. He just doesn't care. He's just like 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. And I mean that's very good.
His favorites. He just finds them and
Yeah, Flacco, he's still got it. He's definitely fun to watch for sure.
It's unbelievable. I don't get it.
Was there any word on the Richardson injury?
I have not seen anything yet either.
Garrett,
I can get on
take
that.
a gander at that while we talk about the Bills and Ravens game, and then I'll get us a fantasy and we'll go to our picks. There really isn't too much to talk about right off the bat. Derrick Henry just sends it to the end zone and makes Garrett regret not trading for him immediately. And Garrett still got his first win. I can't wait to celebrate that. But
I did it.
You sure did.
Came against that man.
All right, hold on. Let's leave the fantasy talk though. But I mean, Ravens absolutely look night and day. Ben got the pick there. We all took the Bills, and the Bills let us down. And it just looked like the Bills didn't come out strong like I would have expected them to, and the Ravens did like I wouldn't expect them to, and the Bills just never really came back from that. Josh Allen was playing hero ball in the third quarter and ended up getting hurt and sitting out he came back in and sat out the rest of the game. And all in all, the Ravens are in fact probably going to make a playoff push here.
Yeah, I mean, going into this game though, I mean, obviously the Bills, they're obviously off to a hot start this season. I mean, Josh Allen is playing really good football, but coming into this game, I had a feeling like this was going to be their toughest test. I mean, going into Baltimore, which is a really tough environment to play in, and that rush defense, it showed up. I mean, Lamar, he showed up big, and especially with Derrick Henry too. So overall, though, I feel like this overall great win by the Baltimore Ravens.
Really quickly, I can interject with a Richardson update. They're calling it a hip pointer. Shane Steichen has come out and said it's not a huge injury. I don't know if they expect him to play on Sunday. That's a little up in the air. So I think for right now, his status is iffy for Sunday.
Well, it just adds to the pile of injuries that he's already had so far in his young career.
Exactly.
So unfortunate.
It's just unfortunate. He hasn't looked as good as he did that rookie season, but hopefully he's able to hone it in, get healthy, and because he's fun to watch when he's doing his thing. So
absolutely.
Hopefully he's able to do that. But let's take a look at our fantasy scoreboard. As at the top here, we have Kyle Pitt's legacy season on their 2-game winning streak. I guess it's not technically a streak till you win 3, so I won't say that yet. Beating Classic Phil 127-100. The interesting part about this game is that I had 60 points left on the bench. Justin Fields and Kenneth Walker. Rashee Rice put up 0, and couldn't happen to a better person. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and Move on down here. Deshaun team beats Fight 111-95. Presidential Powerhouse gives Ben his welcome to the. He came back actually. You only lost 140-128. You were down like 70 something to like 140, and I was like, "Welcome to the league, Ben." But you came back. Jameson Williams got a lot of points there for you, I'm sure.
Yeah,
so.
JMO had a good night last night.
Yeah,
definitely.
So now you both are at 2-2, and here it is, the Baker's dozen, which for some reason your picture still isn't loading for me. 124-117, defeating Cup My Life in the Breeze is getting Garrett his first ever win in fantasy. Garrett, what do you have to say? He's crying.
First of all, I want to thank my team. Baker Mayfield, stunt on these hoes. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, 347 yards for 28 points. Brian Robinson Jr. had a great game, 20 points. Mike Evans, 23.4. Jackson Smith still had a solid game for you. I know you were debating that. Brock Bowers is really the only one. But there was a time where you thought it was over. It looked like it was over after, I believe, night 1. And
so it was what happened was it was Sunday night and I had a big points lead, but Josh still had Josh Allen and I think one or two other people to play. Yeah, on the Monday night game, and then obviously we saw what Derrick Henry did to them. So Derrick Henry, even though I didn't get you on my team, I want to thank you very much for securing my first win.
I was going to say, if you thank anyone, you should be thanking the Ravens defense and the Broncos defense, because Breece Hall will never score 3.9 points in a goddamn week.
Yeah, I don't know how Breece Hall only scored 3.9 against the Denver Broncos.
4 yards rushing.
That's kind of crazy to me.
All right. I hate fantasy football.
We need to start having a talk about the Chenry 20s, though, as they defeat Trey's talented team 112-110. Nobody has had more adversity than that man, and he is currently 3-1, folks. Joe Burrow, Chuba Hubbard, Dowdle, Chris Godwin, Zay Flowers only had 2 points, still won the game. Dallas Goedert, Marvin Harrison Jr., Miami defense, and Evan McPherson. What a game. I mean, he's got Pacheco out. He's got McCaffrey out. It's just he had somebody else out. It's just
Debo.
Yeah, Debo, and then I snagged Debo from him. But regardless, he's still winning games, and that's all that matters is just winning any given Sunday. And I just want to give a huge shout out because I'll be honest, I thought, oh crap, he's probably going to finish second after the whole Christian McCaffrey stuff came out, last after the Christian McCaffrey stuff came out, and he has proved me wrong. So shout out Chenry for that. But yeah. Ben, get ready. You have the Kyle Pitts legacy season this week. So
okay. Probably going to lose.
You better be prepared. All right. Anyways, moving on down, let's go ahead to our picks. We mentioned our standings. We're all tied at 12-9. Me and Ben went 4-2 last week. Josh went 2-4 last week. So let's try and get some separation here, starting with Thursday Night Football we mentioned earlier. The 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Atlanta to face the Falcons, who are 2-2 on the year. I'm going with Tampa Bay. I feel like Atlanta is not going to put much pressure on Baker, and I think that's the recipe to beat the Buccaneers. And I think the Buccaneers, it'll be a close game. I like the new primetime Kirk Cousins now, so maybe that'll do something to it. But give me the Buccaneers to go 4-1 here in this early season, a team that I said was talented, but I didn't think would beat a lot of the teams on their schedule. They're proving me wrong.
For myself, I'm going with the Bucs as well. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a good offensive performance, though. I think they're going to continue that momentum they had against Philadelphia. So give me the Bucs.
Well, it's one separation game right here, gentlemen. I'm taking Atlanta at home, short week.
Okay. Next up, we have an NFL Network game. We have Minnesota traveling out to Tottenham Stadium to face the New York Jets. 2-2 so far in the year. We mentioned 4-0 for Minnesota. That game starts at 9:30. I'm taking Minnesota here, and it's just I don't see their offense has been high powered. Their defense has been tough. And the Jets were struggling against the Broncos defense, which has looked tough in recent weeks, but not like this Vikings defense. So give me Minnesota to roll against the Jets.
For myself, I'm going with the Vikings as well. I mean, like you mentioned, great offense and a great defense. So I feel like those two sides of the ball are going to come together. And I'm interested to see how the Jets secondary will do to try to stop Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Sauce versus Justin Jefferson will be a matchup to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like If they can stop those two guys, though, I feel like the Jets could pull it off, but I'm still riding with the Vikings.
I wanted to be different. Not going to be different on this one. Sam,
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, revenge game.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Vikes.
I have a question for the masses.
Uh-huh.
So obviously you already highlighted it. Jetta against Sauce. Does Justin Jefferson go over 100 receiving yards in this game?
I'm going to go with no.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm going to go with no.
Not the way with Darnold's playing, even?
No.
No?
I think Darnold,
Sauce
a lot
locks him
of the
down?
way Darnold's playing is just because he's throwing to Justin Jefferson. So I think he still probably finds a way to get a touchdown or whatnot, but I don't think he's going to have that deep ball like he's used to.
But you still think Minnesota will win?
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't think the Jets are going to be a scoring threat. I think the Vikings will still find ways to score.
Yeah.
They have a pretty solid receiving core. They have Aaron Jones. I think it just won't be 100 yards for Justin Jefferson. That's a simple answer.
All right.
I agree. I just don't doubt the Sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's two
I
players
agree.
I don't really doubt ever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't doubt Sauce either, though. I feel like Justin Jefferson, he's not going to get 100 yards.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either way, to be honest. But I mean, Sauce is one of the best corners in the game. So
Definitely.
I think you can win without Justin Jefferson getting 100 yards. I don't think that's the game difference there, in my opinion. But it'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch for sure on a Sunday morning. Josh will be drunk, like you said. So, and let's move along to the 1 o'clock CBS game. Buffalo 3-1, Houston 3-1. I think Buffalo is a team that typically goes in spurts. They'll win 3 games and they'll lose 3 games, at least based on last season especially. So I think they're on a downturn. They're a roller coaster ride. They're going down. Give me Houston to win.
For myself, I'm going with the Texans as well. I feel like one of the keys to this game is C.J. Stroud throwing the ball down the field to those 3 receivers. I feel like they're going to take advantage of the Bills' secondary. But I'm curious to see how the Bills' defense will show up after shows back up again after being embarrassed to Baltimore. So as of right now, I'm taking the Texans. I feel like that offense is going to be the difference.
Houston, big.
Ooh, he said big.
Big, okay.
I honestly
He
agree.
said big.
I was waiting for him to be like, I want to be different. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
No, I can't be different on that one.
All right. I have a question for you here
All
for
right.
this series, or for this game, I should say. Ooh, series. Playoff baseball. Yeah, so currently right now, Khalil Shakir and Tank Dell are listed as... Oh, actually, never mind. That question doesn't work. Never mind. Keep going.
All right, so the big game on Fox at 4:05, 4:25. I can't remember for this one, but it's one of those two. Probably 4:25 since they're out west.
Yeah, it is.
San Francisco 49ers 2-2 are traveling to Arizona to Glendale to face the 1-3 Cardinals. It's gotta be San Francisco, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with San Francisco. I feel like one of the keys to this game is San Francisco. They have to run the ball because I feel like they're going to take advantage of a... What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to break your train of thought.
Oh, you're good. So, yeah, I feel like I said earlier, the 49ers, they're going to have to run the ball, though. I feel like they're going to take advantage of the Cardinals' Week 7 as they gave up over 200 yards to Washington last week. So I feel like that's going to be the difference. So give me San Fran.
Give me the toddlers.
Wow.
What?
No, that's not
Wow.
crazy. That's not crazy. The Cardinals have played San Francisco pretty solid in recent years. So
Yeah, I would have to agree, honestly. I think the Cardinals have a real shot here with all the injuries that San Francisco has suffered. I mean, right now you're looking at your number 1 receivers between Marvin Harrison and Jawan Jennings. So, yeah.
Hey, I put respect on Jawan
put some
Jennings'
damn
name.
respect
Yes.
on Jawan Jennings. Good lord, man.
I didn't mean it
Especially-
in a disrespectful
You
way. I think
absolutely
Jawan
meant it in a
Jennings...
Especially the way he
disrespectful
played
way.
against LA.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. You literally said you were talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Jawan Jennings.
If you had let me finish my statement, I would have said Jawan Jennings has been balling out and has more yards than Marvin Harrison this year.
That's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you
You've
want
been
to
forgiven.
jump on my back,
You've been forgiven.
I guess.
Next game.
All right, next game. Dallas versus Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. The first time they will meet on Sunday Night Football.
That's wild.
2-2 Dallas Cowboys, 3-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Steelers to defeat a team, a defense that has looked disgusting so far. Justin Fields coming off a great game against the Colts. Yes, Josh, you were right. The Steelers are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take the Steelers. Congratulations. You have a franchise quarterback in Justin Fields, who we did not mention, but had a ball-out game.
Yes.
Even in a loss versus the Colts. I'm taking the Steelers as well. And Justin Fields is their franchise quarterback. Yep. Trade Russell Wilson to Miami.
I mean, yeah. But I'm going with the Steelers as well. I mean, like you guys mentioned, Justin Fields had a great game against the Indianapolis Colts, and I feel like that's going to show up big this week. And I feel like T.J. Watt and that defense is going to show up. They're going to pressure Dak Prescott a lot. So I'm a little concerned with the Cowboys' defense. I mean, Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence, they're both out with injuries, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if they're playing this week, but yeah, that's my concern. So I'm taking the Steelers.
Yeah, so obviously we know what Josh's take is on this question that I'm about to ask, but I want to hear what what Ben and Colton have to say about it. So obviously Justin Fields has been balling out for Pittsburgh. Is it time to push the button? Are we officially instating Justin Fields as the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh?
I mean, without a doubt.
I was calling for it before the season started. I don't think this was the spot for Russ to succeed. Maybe hopefully it's Miami, but I think Justin Fields, this should have been his team from the start, so absolutely.
Like, if you are the Dolphins, you have to make the call, right? Like, I get they gave Tyler Huntley a try.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What's a call to the Steelers?
Right.
If Russ can be healthy and they're now only holding him out because he's not the starter, clearly, I would absolutely give Russ a call just to see what you got, because it can't be any worse than Tyler Huntley.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're definitely missing Tua right now.
Nah, Skylar Thompson was that as well.
Yeah, they're down in Miami. They're definitely missing Tua for sure.
It's night and day what that team looks like now.
Yeah.
So credit to Tua for, I guess, making that team look better. Last but not least, we have Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints 2-2 on the year at Kansas City, and what looks like another winnable game for the 4-0 Chiefs. Give me the Saints, baby.
All right.
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I don't care. They still finish 8-8, and they get the job done against Kansas City.
You know, I'm actually going with the Chiefs in this one, but it'll be interesting to see how the Saints front seven will show up. I mean, obviously they've been a great defense this year, and even though I am a little concerned for the Chiefs with their wide receiver position, obviously no more Rashee Rice, torn with the
Karma.
With a torn ACL.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, has a torn ACL, and it's Xavier Worthy time. So I feel like he'll show up big in this game. So give me the Chiefs.
I refuse to doubt this team anymore. It doesn't matter what 11 guys are on the field, as long as 15 is a quarterback, and Andy Reid is the head coach. Chiefs.
Yep.
Josh, don't lose faith.
No,
don't lose faith, brother.
Dude, this team is going straight down to New Orleans.
Don't lose faith. Patrick Mahomes has played an awful quarterback this year, and he's lost every single one of his weapons, and he still manages to win.
Okay, Garrett, I get fantasy football is not everything, but this is just numbers-wise. I want to say, if I'm not incorrect about this, Patrick Mahomes is QB 13 in fantasy football over the last 20 games. Not just the start of this year, over 20 games. So they're finding ways to win even without him going out there and putting up his crazy numbers. And then what's going to happen is that game that Patrick Mahomes needs to put up a crazy number, he's going to find a way to put up the crazy number. I don't know how you beat this team, and it just pisses me off. And props to Andy Reid and everybody in that organization who loses players and then just finds ways to replace them and continue to build.
I don't know. I think the Saints have a shot. I mean, I think all you have to prepare for weapons-wise now is Kelsey and Worthy, right? Mm-hmm. And then I guess make sure you contain Patrick Mahomes.
You got Juju. I'm not saying that's a weapon to really worry about, but just like making a point on their wide receiver core, it's Juju and Hardman still there? Or Watson?
Watson, I think.
Justin Watson, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Justin Watson.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore.
And then they have
Mecole Hardman.
5 running backs.
I said Hardman first.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they got like 5 different running backs they're using right now. So
Picked up Kareem Hunt.
Get ready for the Amari Cooper or Devontae Adams trade, and we all
the Raiders won't trade Adams.
Yeah, that's right, because it's division opponent. But get ready for the Amari Cooper trade. I'd say that's almost a done deal after their loss to the New Orleans Saints this week. So, yeah. But any closing thoughts as we wrap up the show here from you fellas?
Sunday, the Bengals are in trouble if they don't know how to stop King Henry, which means the Bengals are in trouble.
They can't stop Chuba Hubbard. Do you think they're going to know how to stop King Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to bring that up, Josh. I'm actually concerned for Sunday. Despite coming off a good win against Carolina, I'm concerned with that rush defense, especially with our best player, Trey Hendrickson, with his neck injury. So,
yeah, hope the best for Trey and hope the best for the Bengals because Lord, we're going to need it. Yeah, that's all I got. Gary, you got any closing points about the NFL?
No, I think you guys pretty much hit it all. I'm just excited for another week of football.
Yep, you and me both. That's a pretty good Thursday night football game for once.
I am excited.
Probably the most excited I've been for one.
I will be
since the Bills and Dolphins. Which
definitely be tuned into that game.
Absolutely. Well, anyways, that's all I got. So thank you all for listening. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're looking to hit 50 subscribers, getting there closer each and every video. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, all that fun stuff. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at NorthSpeedWPod or X, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, thank you, Garrett, for all that you do on the director's chair, working hard. Thank you, Mr. Potato Man, for being here. And thank you, co-host, for all that you do. And Bill Farrow, NK Media Services. You guys work the most. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.